Hey everybody, welcome to BrickVault. My name's Jack, and today we have a LEGO Ninjago Movie set to review for you. This is the Green Ninja Mech Dragon. The set is recommended for ages 8 to 14. It is set number 70612, and it has 544 pieces. Included are 4 minifigs: Charlie, Garmadon, the Green Ninja, and Woo. This set was live streamed. If you want to learn more about our live streaming schedule, you can check our information in the description below, and the set took around an hour and a half to build. Alright, so here it is, the Green Ninja Mech Dragon. It was a pretty easy build to put together, and I'm really glad to find that there are so many new colors molded in sand green, and not to mention we have those great pieces that make up the head. Anyways, let's check out the dragon. I think looking at it from afar first is probably the coolest. I think what works so well about this build is just the organic stance that the creature creates. It looks more realistic and lifelike compared to any of the other dragons made from LEGO. And because it is technically a mech or a robot, it doesn't have to abide by all of the organic rules that you might think it has to. Some of the rigidness and some of the blockiness that you find within the build is appropriate for the universe that it resides in, but from afar, you really can see some great stances, and I think that is both due to the wonderful shapes created and the very appropriate placement of joints. The head is not just a single joint, there's actually a neck joint that is attached to the chest. It can just go up and down, that's the only point of posability for it, and then the head can only look side to side. Also, the head can turn, that is, the head has the ability to turn its head sort of cocked to the side. That adds a lot more, I think, emotion to the dragon. It can kind of lean its head, turning and arcing around in a corner. And then further behind, we have a couple of little flaps that have the ability to sort of kind of move up and down. They have a better purpose, or they serve a different purpose. I'll show you guys that in just a little bit. But then moving on down to the legs, there's 2 points of flexibility. The top is ratcheted, the bottom is a ball joint, and there's quite a few degrees of articulation. Also, those toes are posable as well. The middle stance, or the middle joint, is the most unique by far because there's actually those rubber Technic connectors, and they have the ability to kind of have the body bounce off of its waist. Its natural resting position will be somewhat centered, and when you're moving the creature around, you don't hear it bouncing off of any plastic. There's no clicks or anything like that, and the body sort of readjusts itself to the center on its own. This also makes the dragon feel a little bit more organic because it's kind of got a softer touch when you're sort of sliding it along the ground, and it certainly gives it a much more realistic, fluid motion. You might have noticed also that the tail can flail around very easily and almost effortlessly. Without too much trouble, you can make the tail swing, and it swings around in a very sort of natural way. Believe it or not, that is just 3 points of articulation there, but they are all evenly weighted and spaced out in the proper way, and that allows for them to swing back and forth, and of course it swings around at perfect minifig size so you can knock over any opponents. You might have noticed also that there's a little gear wheel in the back if you just want to have a single tail swishing motion without moving the body. Now, the last movable function on the dragon is sort of a morphing function. Remember, this thing can fly, it does not have wings, and it is technically a robot, so it's not magic lifting this thing off the ground, but instead some cleverly hidden jets. If you fold the arms outward just a little bit, we have these great covered sort of quarter cylinder pieces that are on little clips. They fold open, and out come the jets. From there, you can very easily pose the arms upward in both the front and then the back, and then those little shoulder pieces I mentioned earlier kind of act as little wind guards as well. When lifting the whole dragon up, it does have just as dynamic a position, or just as dynamic a stance. Well, you can't really call it a stance, but what I mean to say is that it looks just as animated as it would be if it was standing as when it's flying. So not only is this an awesome looking creature from the ground as sort of a ground vehicle or as an animal that you can have made out of Lego, but this thing is totally swooshable. Now let's focus on some of the details a little bit closer up. This is the head. It looks amazing. There are 2 main points of articulation for the jaw. Technically, it can open 2 points higher, but it kind of looks ridiculous after that. But there's a lot of great, wonderful swirls. You can even tip the head to the side. There's a couple of spikes on the underjaw, and that detailing on the forehead is actually a sticker. Just like all the details, or just about all the details on here, are stickers. And let's take a closer look at the awesome detail that makes up the face. The eye is actually made of a neon green minifigure headpiece tucked inside a bowl. There's a fun little attachment there, and there's just a lot of great uses of gold, especially that upside down banana piece. Now remember, this is a mech. It is a robot controlled by a person. This is where the Green Ninja sits, right kind of in the middle of the neck, and it's actually a pretty well put together cockpit, in so much as that it's not really a cockpit. It's very much open top. This is a print that makes up that green visor, and then the rest is all stickers, like I said before. I love that there is a clip on the side for putting the sword, for sitting your minifig down. That is always crucial, and it fits right in with the rest of the build. And I think our pilot looks pretty awesome. Doesn't stick out too much, and no overhead windscreen was needed, and this was very good for being kind of minimal. Here is a better look at some of those spines that go all along the back of the dragon. Simple builds, they don't break off, which I absolutely love. I felt like that was maybe going to be a weak point in the model, but it certainly isn't. And then this is the largest single sticker that is on the dragon. Now, I believe I've talked up the dragon enough. Let's move on down to the 4 minifigs. Of the 4, I believe only one is actually exclusive to this set, but let's start off with the main character, the Green Ninja. This is the Green Ninja Mech Dragon set after all, and Lloyd is looking pretty decent. I know there's a little bit of controversy about the new look for the Ninjago characters here, and especially the build that makes up the mask. I, for one, don't think the two-parter really benefits the look of the mask, as in there is a neck piece that makes up the bottom half of the face mold, or the cowl, I should say, and then the top piece matches up very well. It does match up well. The quality of the mold is undisputable, but personally, I think it's just one extra step in removing pieces from the minifig, and I don't know how much better this actually looks compared to just a normal cowl piece. Either way, the detailing on the body is pretty awesome. I especially like the very fine mesh print that goes onto the torso, and actually the arms if you look very closely. The saber in his hand is a great mold, and that is an awesome new piece that makes up the tassel on the handle. Garmadon is looking great. He's in pretty much all black, and his coolest features are both the mold for the helmet at the top, and I really like this long extended cloth piece that goes down the front and the back. The print for his face is new, at least compared to the old Garmadons, and it's looking pretty familiar, along with the print on the body, the original body. It actually looks very similar to some of the early Garmadons, but I think the best part is the print on his armor piece that makes up sort of his second torso, and he also comes with this very interesting accessory. This is a laser pointer. That's right, just like in the original LEGO movie, we had some super glue. This is what looks like a LEGO build for what would be a perfectly scaled laser pointer if it was made for your own hands. Seems to be some sort of weapon or laser cannon for Garmadon, and I can't help but appreciate how silly that is. Now here is Master Wu. He's looking pretty good. The new feature about him, or the main new feature about him, is the new cloth piece used around his waist. It simulates his longer robes, and the print on it is wonderful. Part of me thinks that that could have been totally fine as a print or dual molded legs, but it looks like they went for the cloth piece this time, and it's a nice little change up. There is also printing on his toes. He's got a decent enough expression for the face. And now let's actually move on to what I believe is the only exclusive fig for the set, Charlie. Like so many of the other evil brethren, he's got a fish handle used for his weapon. It looks like he's got some sort of harpoon or spear, and in general he's a pretty decent looking fig. I especially like the print for the face. I think that is the strongest aspect of the character, and the general printing for his tactical suit is looking pretty good. All in all, I'd say the printing quality for these 4 figs is very good, though the fact that only one of them is exclusive and he doesn't seem like that major of a character, at least not that visually interesting compared to a lot of the other villains, I think that's a reason why the price point is relatively low for the amount of parts and the quality of the set. Personally, I don't really find that as much of a drawback. It still is 4 figs for the part price ratio. That's actually still not bad. So basically, we're looking at this thing all together now. Final thoughts are that it's awesome. I think the $50 price point is very good for a 544 piece set that is extremely well built. It just looks so cool in terms of a mech. I mean, you don't even think about it, at least I'm not really thinking about it much in terms of mech status, but just as an awesome mechanical dragon. All in all, I'd say that the build is strong, and that's really the final point for me. I absolutely love the look of the dragon, and I consider this the best version of a LEGO dragon made from a set to date. Alright, that's it for this episode, everybody. Thanks a lot for watching. Remember, if you enjoy our content, you can always like or subscribe. That's it. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time at BrickVault.